So here's the deal, dude. They've already greenlit, apparently, Respawn and EA have greenlit Star Wars Jedi 3. And this makes me want to throw up. Jedi Survivor has been out for 5 months now and it's still broken. It just had its like 6th or 7th patch on at the end of the first week of this month in September, and it's still broken. This game was broken across all platforms. We just looked it up on PC again. It's still broken, and instead of waiting to greenlight a game like this, Respawn and EA are already moving forward. They're already moving on. That shows me, and it should show everybody else, that you should not be investing in Respawn and EA games moving forward. They don't give a crap. They don't care about releasing broken-ass products and making consumers pay for them. They're going to lean on a name like Star Wars because they know that people will buy it. Right? They don't care what kind of state it's in when they release it. They're going to release it anyways. And then they don't even care about whether or not it gets even fixed. They're going to move on and greenlight the next one and go ahead and start working on that before the previous one's even fixed to the state it should have been in on release anyways. This is disgusting. We've known EA is terrible for a long time. Respawn can now get wrecked as well. You know, this is gross. This is the kind of stuff that us as gamers have to start understanding and remembering about these certain developers and publishers, and quit supporting these terrible companies because they will not stop doing this crap to us. There's nobody else out there that's going to protect us from this. In this industry, it's up to us. Nobody else is going to do it. So you can waste your money on these terrible crap corporations and businesses that do this kind of scummy crap to us. Or you can pay attention, quit supporting them, let them die off, and support the good companies, which is what I recommend. So I'll read this, and then I'm going to bring up the Steam page for Jedi Survivor and just show you guys what the state that this game is still in after 5 months of being released. Following 2019 Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and its 2023 sequel Star Wars Jedi Survivor, a new and third game in the series is officially in the works. Again, before Jedi Survivor is even fixed. The news doesn't come the way of developer Respawn Entertainment or publisher EA, but Cameron Monaghan, the actor behind Cal Kestis, the protagonist of the series. Unfortunately, this is the extent Monaghan had to say about the next installment in the series, which was always inevitable considering the success of the first two games. How is the second game a success? This is what is crazy to me. This game was terrible across all platforms. Terrible. And it is considered a success because so many people bought it because it has the name Star Wars on it. And because, let's be fair, they did a pretty solid job with Fallen Order. It was not great on release, but they turned it into a pretty decent game. And for many people, it's one of the better Star Wars games that's ever been made. And they baited a ton of people into buying Star Wars Jedi Survivor off of that fact, which has made a broken dumpster fire of a game in Star Wars Jedi Survivor considered a success. It's terrible. It's worth noting that if development of a third game began this year, we have a good idea when it could release. 4 years separated the release between Fallen Order and Survivor. If this development timeline repeats and there's no reason to expect anything different, this third game will release in 2027. If this happens, it should be a PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S game. At this point, the PS4 and Xbox One will be a distant memory. Meanwhile, the PS6, if that's what it will be called, which probably so, and the next Xbox are not expected to release until 2028. Now, what we're knowing about the next Xbox as well is that these are probably going to be thin clients for the next Xbox. I still think Xbox should probably move over and do some kind of handheld closer to like what we see with like the Steam Deck and the Switch. I think it fits their portfolio very well and their services very well. But we do know that they're getting very heavily. We've had released documents here lately. They are looking at thin clients to where most of their content is going to be streamed. You're going to be using hardware assets streamed from them and stuff like that. At least that's the plan. A lot can change over 5 years. We'll see how that goes moving forward for Xbox. So while there's a good chance this game will eventually be on those platforms, if it releases in 2027, it won't be right away. At the moment of publishing, neither EA nor Respawn have commented on this news. If this changes, we'll be sure to update the story accordingly. Normally, we'd suggest take this with a grain of salt as it's not been revealed in an official capacity. The start of the series is a pretty good source. This is terrible, dude. Yo, comic book, get wrecked, dude. Speaking of Cameron, he's a big part of why both the series is so good. In fact, his performance in Star Wars Jedi Survivor is one of the best performances of this year. As for the game itself, it's also great. If you can play it, I'm sure the content's pretty solid. The performance is absolute balls. Sorry, but I'm going to have to say that it feels like comic book probably has some kind of, getting their palms greased here by EA or Respawn or both or whatever to not say anything about performance issues because, look, this game had performance issues across all platforms. And I hate to see a highly visible outlet talk about a game like this and not, at least in some capacity, bring up the fact that there were always issues with this game on release and still are. That's a terrible thing. That is not doing anything to help us as gaming enthusiasts or this industry at all. So comic book can get wrecked on that front too. Now let's bring up Jedi Survivor real quick. I'll at least be able to show you on PC. So all time, this game is at a 63%. And recent reviews, it's at a 64%. And look, guys, this is not because of content, right? This is because of performance, right? Looking at recent reviews, right? Recent reviews. This is over the past 30 days of almost 1,500 reviews. They're mixed at about just over 60% positive. And many of what they talk about is performance, is just trash. You can come in here and take a look. This right here. I'll read this for you. I read it before. I'll read it again. I just do not get it. This should be a special game that I could easily recommend to anyone. This should be a must finish for any Star Wars lover like me. This should be a contender for Game of the Year, but it's not. The technical performance of this video game on a system that is above average is frankly shocking. After the recent patch 7, 5th September dropped, I decided to really give it another go since the performance could improve using DLSS. The performance did not improve. It stayed exactly the same while looking visually worse because of DLSS. I cannot recommend this game to anyone who has anything less than an RTX 4090 GPU or a 12th gen or higher CPU. My 3080 gets me maybe 40 frames per second, but dips much longer than that if it doesn't crash before then. I can run any other Unreal Engine 4 game with no problems. I know the developers really pushed this engine to a new level, but at the cost of making the game unplayable. I'm still waiting to play this game since the 28th of April, but I'm finally going to uninstall it because I have absolutely zero faith this game will ever run smoothly. I will at least say that this game is visually stunning, even if it runs like a slideshow. I wish I could play through the whole game myself, but I'm not about to spend $5K on a PC just for this game. Do not buy this. Just watch someone who has more money to spend than you do play a full playthrough without any stuttering or crashes. This is terrible. Fun while it works, but not optimized well yet 5 months later. Playing on the lowest graphics, still crashes regularly on Steam Deck. Gonna wait for more optimization and patches. Have an RTX 3070 and an i7 10700K. Settings on high with ray tracing turned off. Patch 7 right now. Have about 70 to 90 frames per second in smaller areas. Once I go to an open area, my frames drop to 50. This is just obviously a game that is very, very, very poorly optimized. For anybody, I think, that has been playing games for very long and knows what that means, that's where a lot of these negative reviews are coming from. You're going to get, I guarantee you, playing this game on even a decent rig, you're going to get a lot of stuttering, a lot of frame flux and drop. The bugs in this game on release were absolutely insane. It's terrible to see. I don't know about the other systems like the console versions and stuff, if they've gotten better or not. But this is what I'll probably show. Let's go look at Metacritic real quick. The critic reviews are probably going to be quite a bit higher than user reviews. That's what I'm going to guess right here. Yeah. So, so, so this is one of those things I'm always kind of worried about with like these critic review sites. When it comes to big companies like EA and stuff, is how many of these reviews are afraid to say anything bad. You know, this game, our news segments were littered with the amount of issues this game had on release. And this game it has an 85 on a meta score on Metacritic, but the user score is a 6.2, right? Let's look at the other platforms here. PC, please. Okay. It got a 78. It's not showing us everything else. Their site just got updated. It's a little bit wonky right now. So I don't know, man. This is a bad. This is what I'll tell. This last thing I'm going to say about this is, this is a situation where you don't trust. Look, if anybody has continued to trust EA this far into gaming history, you know, if you're still trusting EA in modern gaming, I don't know why, you know, but EA is definitely one of the scummiest, most disgusting developers / publishers out there. And anything that has their name on it should be, you know, very, very, very carefully thought about before being invested in my opinion. Respawn, I understand why people probably bought into Jedi Survivor in the first place. Fallen Order is a highly regarded game. It was a little rough on release. It had some issues. They sorted it out really quick, and it has become a beloved, one of the most beloved Star Wars games of all time. So ultimately, Star Wars Jedi Survivor kind of was a very unfortunate circumstance, because what it really did was, to me, it comes off as Respawn and EA baiting people into buying a game that is trash because the previous game was so good. I think the content's probably really, really good in Survivor, but how are you supposed to experience content if the game doesn't even play well? If you can't even play the game, how are you supposed to experience the content? You know, you can't. You need both. You need solid performance and you need solid content for a good game. That's all there is to it. And so moving forward, this is terrible to actually hear that they've greenlit the third installment before the second one's even been fixed. There's no way they should be moving on to working on the third one before the second one is pretty optimized across all platforms, performing very well across all platforms. And we know that's not the case right now. So I would just really prompt people to just don't pre-order the next one. Don't buy into the next one on release. If you're really interested in playing it, wait till it releases and see what reviews are saying. They've shown you that they've shown all of us at this point that they're willing to release a broken product and lean on the name of Star Wars and basically scam people out of their money. Don't let it happen to you again, man.